We're Lloyd and Mandy, and after 4.5 years of traveling the world searching for somewhere to call our forever home, we finally found it. A $22,000 abandoned farmhouse in rural Japan. We're now 3 weeks into trying to turn this forgotten house into our family home, and this week, things really started to go wrong. We made some costly mistakes.
Everything's pretty much going not according to plan, and we've had to triple buy things and go to the store so many times, and we're just feeling a little bit down on our luck today. It definitely is true what they say, that everything takes twice as long and costs twice as much as you think it's going to.
Uncovered problems with the house we never knew existed, and for the first time since buying it, we seriously started questioning whether we'd made a huge mistake.
Well, I think we've really hit a point where this is starting to feel pretty challenging. We've run into quite a few dead ends and just feeling a little bit frustrated.
Things get to the point where we even consider leaving the house altogether.
We thought that living here while we're renovating would actually make things easier, but upon reflecting, we've realized that it's actually been holding us back a little bit.
This was easily our toughest week in Japan so far. That's all coming up right now on Lloyd and Mandy.
Okay, we just came down to this awesome hardware store called Plus One and got everything we need pretty much to start painting the first room, which is going to be our bedroom / the kids' room. We got a sander, some paint, some stain, some protective gear like mask and goggles and stuff. Yeah, pretty much everything we need, and it's really affordable down here as well. So I think we can get started today. All right, we're ready to do some actual renovations. So this room upstairs, I spent last week getting it all clean and everything. Got rid of some nests that were in here and just gave everything a really good scrub. We've been staying in the room downstairs because it was the first one that was sort of livable, I suppose. But this one up here is way bigger and way better. This is actually 2 rooms. There's a small room on this side and a slightly bigger room on this side with 2 windows, and there's plenty of storage space. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this into our master bedroom here and then have the kids' room here, because there are some sliding doors that go on to separate it. So it'll be like 1 big room but also 2 rooms separated, which we think is going to be really cool. What we're dealing with though is this really unique, interesting finish on the walls. I can't remember what it's called, but we'll put it on screen below. But this is really common in Japanese houses, especially older ones. It is a thin layer of insulation, but it's not super insulated. We're going to leave it for now. We just want to get this place livable for winter. The whole plan right now is to get this as livable as possible for winter without doing too much major renovations. We're going to have to renovate the bathroom quite a bit and the kitchen, but apart from that, we want to kind of leave most of it as is, because as I said, we just want to get it livable for winter. So we're going to sand all the frames and the wood and stain them a nice dark color Then we're going to just seal this wall instead of sanding it back, because it's this real like sandy texture. It's really weird, but it sort of comes off when you touch it. And so we're going to seal that in and then paint over it so it all looks like brand new. Yeah, if anybody's worked with this stuff before, let us know in the comments down below. I've never seen it ever. It's really like a rubbery, sandy kind of texture. Obviously, there's a chance that there's asbestos in it, and that's probably the biggest reason we don't want to disturb it. So we're not going to take it out, we're not going to sand it back, we're literally just going to paint it for now. We're also going to replace these. I think they're called Shoji windows. We're going to stain the frames and replace the paper, so that's going to look really nice. In a few days, it'll get it feeling a lot more like home for us, and we can have, yeah, our bedroom that we're going to be using for the next winter. So yeah, I'll get started.
Man, what a hell of a year it's been. Keep on bluffing, but I just can't win. Drown my sons, but they learn to swim. Man, what a hell of a year it's been. Head in a bottle, put my heart in a case. It's getting harder to act my age. Play a sad song on a tiny violin for the man at the bar confessing his sin. I need some good news. Sitting here sipping on cold truth. Nobody knows what I'm going through, but the devil will walk in my shoes. Wish someone told me living this life would be lonely. Trying to get away from the old me. Still stuck singing these blues. All I really need is a little good news. Love keeps knocking, but I just stay home. I ain't picking no flowers for the seeds that I'm sown.
Can't believe how delicate this paper is. Look at this. I'm not sure if it's always like that. I doubt it. It's probably just really old. It just rips so easily. You put your finger on it ever so slightly and it just rips. So we're going to get some more of that from the hardware store after we stain these and replace it.
Trying to get away from the old me. Still stuck singing these blues. All I really need is a little good news. It's a little good news. Good news, sitting here sipping on cold truth. Nobody knows what I'm going through, that the devil wouldn't walk in my shoes.
I don't know what the deal is, but our Starlink was working absolutely fine for about 10 days. And then a few days ago, it just stopped. It just started turning itself off, turning itself back on again and going through this cycle. Tried everything, troubleshooting it. I've been talking to Starlink for a few days. They've finally said they're going to send us a new dish. So I guess it's just a faulty dish. If anyone's had any experience using Starlink, let me know down below, because this is the first time I've ever used it. And it was really good. I was really happy with it. But for the last 5 days we've had no Wi-Fi. We've been running purely off our eSIMs and doing all of our work, emails, editing, uploading content, purely just off our eSIMs, which luckily they're pretty good. We use Airlo eSIM. The thing I like about it the most actually is that it tops up automatically. So I go into the app and I purchase a top up that lets it top up automatically, so we're not just left with no Wi-Fi, because if it's like 8 or 9 o'clock at night and our data runs out on our eSIMs, then we're left with nothing, and we have no way of getting any more data unless we travel into town 15 minutes and log on to Wi-Fi somewhere to purchase more. So that's really good. Obviously, it's super important for us to stay connected, even though we are in a very remote village here in Japan. We do still have to keep editing and uploading this content so that we can keep progressing, and just troubleshooting things like this, like being able to use the internet to figure out all these problems, is massive. So huge shout out to Airlo for keeping us connected during this difficult time. If you want to check them out for yourself, I'll put a QR code on the screen which you can scan. Also, if you use the link down below in the description and use code LloyderMandy at checkout, you'll get 15% off your Airlo eSIM.
What's Daddy got? Little bear. So it looks like the paper must have been replaced at some stage already, because there's like 2 layers here that's on the frame that's not coming off very easily. So I'm gonna have to get something to get the remainder of the paper off of the frames. But the good news is the frames themselves are in great condition, so we'll be able to sand them and stain them and keep them as well, which makes me happy because I think they're really cool. It's like melting away. So apparently the adhesive for the Shoji paper is a starch base. So you can just use a warm water to soak on it, and then it just comes off. It's coming off so easily. Like it said not to use a sander because it'll like clog up the sander. And I'm happy I listened, because this is like, it's just like melting off. So it's actually very easy, and I think being able to replace it will be easy too.
They got married early, never had no money. Then when he got laid off, they really hit the skids. He started up his drinking, then they started fighting. He took it pretty badly, she took both the kids. She said, I'm not standing by to watch you slowly die. So watch me walking at the door, at the door, at the door. She said, shove it, Jack, I'm walking at your fucking door. She went to her brother's, got a little bower. He went to the buttery, he stayed about a year. Then he wrote a letter, said I wanna see ya.
Alright, I'm just starting staining the Shoji window frames. This is really exciting. The stain is looking better and better every day as it soaks into the walls. I think these windows are gonna look incredible once they're stained. Now that they're all sanded, they look pretty much brand new. I'm really impressed with the condition that they're in, so let's see how they look when they're stained.
To her door, to her door. And his heart was singing like a low-down guitar.
Okay, and I'm just sealing these walls. So this sandy texture that is on the walls, we need to seal it before we can paint it. Because when you touch it, a little bit sort of like rubs off. So we can't just paint over that. So we found this water-based sealer And I've done a couple of spots and it's already worked, I think. It feels like it, but we won't know till tomorrow. So we just got to do all of these walls. And then hopefully we'll be able to paint tomorrow.
Riding through the streets in a silver top, to her shaking in his seat. Riding through the streets in a silver top, to her door, to her door, to her door, to her door.
Well, I think we've really hit a point where this is starting to feel pretty challenging. The first few days when we moved in, like, it was obviously a challenge because we had to get the place livable and clean it up so that we could stay there, and we were absolutely exhausted. But I think we were just sort of running on adrenaline. Like, we couldn't believe we were actually in our house in Japan that we bought. And then the second sort of week, I feel like we fell into a bit of a routine, got pretty used to like living here and where to buy groceries and the house and everything, so it started feeling comfortable. And then just the last few days we've run into like quite a few dead ends and just feeling a little bit frustrated, like trying to figure stuff out and things taking longer than we would have liked, especially with the language barrier has been a challenge, and then the heat has been like really tiring during the day. It's been okay at night, like it cools down quite a bit here, but yeah, during the day trying to get stuff done and it's extremely hot, and then you throw in a couple of bad sleeps here and there, like Lila has a bad sleep, and yeah, just trying to get the energy to keep working and keep moving forward. It definitely feels like this last week has been more of a challenge than previously, but we knew it was going to be a challenge and we don't regret it at all. We knew, yeah, we're going to run into a lot of dead ends, but we're up for the challenge, I suppose. Me and Mandy are always up for a challenge, and this is just another one of those. Alright, I've just been at Family Mart to get some snacks for me and Mandy for today. We got the chocolate covered pretzels, Mandy's request. Got 2 different types of cheese. I've never had this before. Hokkaido cheese, not sure what that's like. Camembert blended cheese. We got the salami, sliced salami. What else we got? Some crackers. Some popcorn. Grape soda. All this is so cheap. And then my favorite, I got these. I saw these as I was lining up. Family Mart socks. I just saw these and thought they look really cool. They got like the Family Mart colors striped. They're only $4 or something. I need some new socks, so I picked these up. Hopefully they fit. But yeah, I've been trying to learn a little bit of Japanese every day and just use it when I'm going to the store. But I feel like I keep getting it wrong. Whenever they ask me if I need a bag, I think they're asking, will that be all? And then the other way around. And I keep saying the wrong thing and feeling like an idiot. So if anyone has any advice for learning Japanese, I'm trying to pick up a little bit. I'm trying to pick up a little bit every day. But it's so hard because I'm not talking to that many people. Like, I literally only talk to somebody when I go to the hardware store or to the convenience store or something like that, and it's just very minimal Japanese. So I'm trying to listen to podcasts and YouTube videos that give Japanese lessons, but without immersing myself in it, I feel like it's really difficult to pick up. If anyone has any advice on how to learn it a bit faster, because it's a very difficult language to learn, let me know in the comments below. Oh my god, these chocolate covered pretzels, I'm going to end up eating all of them before I get home. These are incredible. Oh my god.
Wanna go hard, wanna have fun, wanna be happy, can you show me how to? Look so pretty, pretty like the sun. I could watch forever while you shine on everyone. It's Black Friday, in a black taxi. Take my hand, hold it gently on the middle seat. It's all in my head, it's all in my mind. I'm so selfish, you're so kind. It's all in my head, baby, I can't breathe. I look in the mirror, what has happened to me?
Evan?
Wow, that was the most ridiculous breakfast. Chicken waffles. I've been wanting to try chicken waffles for years. I never thought I would do it in Japan. That was incredible.
Okay, today was supposed to be painting day in the room upstairs. I just did a small section of this room and I'm not happy with it. It went on really brown. The idea was that I was going to sort of color drench this room with like a chocolatey brown, and so far everything's come up darker than what I like. The stain is definitely darker, but it's lightened, which I'm happy with it now. But now the paint went on brown and it's dried like completely black, like it's giving goth vibes. Look how dark this is, even compared to the stain. It's so dark. I'm so sad. So we're a little bit disappointed because we thought today things were going to get a bit more finished, but everything's pretty much going not according to plan, and we've had to like triple buy things and go to the store so many times, and we're just feeling a little bit down on our luck today.
This room is meant to take like 5 days. We planned it out. I think this is day 7.
Yeah, and we're nowhere near done.
Today we're supposed to get all of it painted and then finished tomorrow. So we're dealing with 2 issues. Is that the wall's using a lot of paint and it's the wrong colour.
Yeah.
So that whole tin of paint's basically useless. So we could probably use it in the desk or something.
Yeah, we'll use it for something else. That's okay. It's also like for that small section, it took like half a tin of paint just for that section, and it needs another coat as well. And we did the sealer primer.
Needs another coat.
Yeah, like that you can still see gaps there. And yeah. So like if we were to keep using that paint, we'd have to use probably 10 tins of paint. And it's like $45 a tin for that stuff. So we're not going to be using that paint. We're going to have to swap colors and...
I think we're going to have to do either another seal or a primer. Something.
Yeah. I think probably a primer. Yeah.
We're going to have to go back to the store.
For the 100th time this week.
Been every day this week.
Multiple times. Yeah. Anyway, it definitely is true what they say, that everything takes twice as long and costs twice as much as you think it's going to.
I just didn't think that would apply to simple painting.
We're using this as a learning experience, though. Like, this is our first time doing this. The stain went pretty well, I think. Like, the stain looks great.
Yeah.
So we'll count that as a win. But yeah, the paint not going so good. Seal, primer, not so good. We'll get there. We will get there. I am getting to use up a bunch of the tomatoes from one of our neighbors that brought these over, which is so nice. That's going to go in our dinner tonight. It's going to be so good. So Lloyd and I have been living in like accommodation that has only had a 2-burner stove and no oven for quite some time now. we were staying in like guest houses or small apartments, that type of thing, in different places in Southeast Asia. So we've gotten pretty good at making meals just using what we have, and it's usually very limited, which it still is right now. It is very uncomfortable, I will be honest. I miss having an oven and like a proper like 4-burner stove so much. I know not everyone has that, but like I love cooking, I love baking, and that's been something that's been like a huge challenge with traveling full time and then moving into the house. Like I cannot wait for this kitchen to be finished, you guys. Like I just stand here and I just dream about it, what it's gonna look like. Like we've got such big windows in here, there's so much natural light and such an incredible view outside. It's just gonna be amazing when it's finished. So that's what's keeping me going. It's tough right now. And with us eating quite a bit from the convenience store, at the moment we're having just lunches from the convenience store because we're doing so much during the day, like with renovating and then looking after Lila and everything else. Yeah, we're eating from the convenience store usually once a day, sometimes twice, but it just doesn't make us like, we just get a bit run down when we're not eating home cooked food. So trying to cook as much as possible on top of the renovating, even though the kitchen is in absolute shambles, but it is what it is. I saw a post recently that said, I'd rather be uncomfortable for 2 years than house poor for 30, and it really spoke to me. I'm like, yes, that's how I feel right now. So I'm just reminding myself this is temporary, we're gonna get through it, and it's all gonna be worth it in the end. Definitely the most uncomfortable thing at the moment is we're boiling water for everything right now, like to do the dishes and to have baths. Especially when you're exhausted after painting or renovating or whatever all day, and then you've got to boil water. It's all part of the fun. It's not that bad.
That's why I cold bath.
Yeah.
All right, today's the day. Finally going to attack this garden that's been overgrown for months. I ordered the wrong machine from Amazon. I ordered this dinky little electric brush cutter because it was cheap, and I thought maybe Japanese Amazon's better than in Australia. It's not. It didn't do anything, so I just went and bought this big petrol brush cutter, and I'm going to get this whole garden tidied up because it's an absolute eyesore, and I'm sure the neighbours are probably looking at us thinking, when are you guys going to clear this garden? It looks like it's been sitting here since winter, honestly. I don't think anyone's touched it all year. And there's spiders and all sorts of things growing in it. So today's job is to cut it back, and then first thing Monday, I'm going to go down to the village office and ask what we can do with all of our green waste, because there's going to be a lot of branches, a lot of grass, a lot of stuff. I might make a compost pile, and then, I don't know, maybe I have to get like a machine so I can cut everything into small bits, like a wood chipper, and make some mulch. I don't know yet. It did rain yesterday, so everything's a little bit wet. It's not ideal. Wow, this thing is awesome. It's got this steel blade on it, which we don't really use in Australia. We just use like a nylon wire. This thing cuts through everything. Weeds, branches, trees, you name it. It's going to make the job so much easier. I'm done.
He's kind of kidding, but he's kind of not. We've had a little bit of a revelation. Just realizing that we thought that living here would, while we're renovating, would actually make things easier. But upon reflecting, we've realized that it's actually been holding us back a little bit. We've been trying to just make rooms more comfortable for us while we're living here, rather than actually doing the work that needs to be done. And we're spending a lot of time just trying to handle our own discomforts rather than like just demolishing things and starting from scratch like they need to be. So we've got a rental for the next month that we're going to be staying at. That's about 15-20 minutes away. And that should give us the freedom a bit more to like rip out walls and flooring and things that need to be done, and not worry so much about us having to live here and it be comfortable. Also, Lila being around while we're doing demolition isn't really ideal. So having somewhere else that she can be is a little bit safer and just gives us a bit more peace of mind.
Yeah, I feel like this first 3 weeks we've figured out everything that needs to be done. But the problem is being able to do it while we're here. Like I need to take the windows out because we're putting new windows in, but then there's just bugs flying in everywhere. So we're kind of living in a construction site, and also we're going to tear up all the tiles and everything in the bathroom. There's so much stuff that needs to be done. Maybe if we didn't have Lila with us, it would be manageable, but even still, like we're holding ourselves back by trying to live here and have it as a construction site at the same time. So I just want to get into everything, like start ripping everything up and start really getting some progress on the house. I think separating living from working is going to be way easier. We found a really good deal too.
Yeah, so I'm going to pack up some of our stuff now. We thought we were done with suitcases for a while, but that's okay. I think this will be so much more comfortable because it has an actual shower. Not being able to shower after like being covered in dust and like grass and all the stuff has been a huge challenge. This is just going to make us a lot more comfortable. We've also been just like struggling with sleeping as well. Usually we'd have like a 2-bedroom place where Lloyd and I can like take turns sleeping with Lila, but yeah, that obviously hasn't been the case. So we're a bit sleep deprived, and I think this will just really help us get ahead and really be able to tackle the work that needs to be done. Okay, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but that might have been one of the best showers I've ever had. After 3 weeks of no running hot water and literally the most uncomfortable baths ever, just having to boil pots of water on the stove. Yeah, that was pretty amazing. So we got this old Japanese style cabin in one of the ski towns that's sort of close to our house, and wow, is it beautiful. Look at this view. We've got a fully functioning kitchen with hot water as well, which is amazing. It's obviously nothing fancy. It's like a old school cabin, but everything works. And so we're like super appreciative of everything. Really makes you grateful for things when you like deprive yourself of things for a while. Traveling's definitely taught me that. This wasn't the plan, but I'm really happy that we're doing it. We're going to be able to get so much more done on the house and hopefully be able to start smashing out the bathroom, because that is the most uncomfortable part of the entire house.
Wow, we got really lucky with this place. I was just having a look around to see if there was anything close by within our budget, because accommodation here is really, really expensive, even during summer, which isn't really peak season. And this place just happened to be like 80% off for long-term, like a month rental on Airbnb, which worked out incredible. It's in a really good location. We can walk everywhere to the shops, and it's about 15 minutes back to the house. So I'm just getting ready to go back now. Going to finish the garden off, and then it's demolition time. We've got about 3 or 4 weeks of a window where we want to get this bathroom done. We're going to have to get a plumber though, so we've got a lot to do, and I think it's going to be a lot easier going back and forth from the house, doing the work, and then having somewhere to come back to that's clean and has a flushing toilet and a hot shower and all that stuff. And I really want to enjoy this time being in Japan in the woods like this in a really cool ski town and renovating our house. So far it's been a challenge, but it's been fun at the same time. Japan is insane. Look at this. There's world-class mountains right behind me here, and then beautiful rice paddies. I'm just on this epic road all to myself. on the skateboard. How cool is this? Japan must have the best nature in the world. Everything is so lush. No wonder they call it green season.